Duna. It's no wonder it's called Duna with an exclamation. Many times in the drama, you'd find yourself exclamating, Duna. She's naughty, unstable, lost, and beautiful. While silently whispering wonJun, who's stable, focused, kind-hearted, and handsome. Doona is a Netflix original young adult slice-of-life romantic Korean drama, featuring the multi-talented Bae Suzy and the equally talented Yang Sejong. These actors' ability to exhibit the different facets of their characters is commendable. They take you on a roller coaster ride with their emotions. You feel their joy, their chemistry, their sadness, loss, and desperation. Have I mentioned their chemistry? I think I just did. It smoked whenever they were together, literally and figuratively. Add that to the complexity of the idol world, and you have an interesting, binge-worthy drama. This drama is about youth, the intricacies of love, and self-discovery. After the first 4 episodes, you'd become engrossed in finding out how their story would end. However, the ending was vague, leaving more questions than answers. Did they, or didn't they, end up together? After that soul-tugging hug and admission, what was that end scene? That's why today, I'm going to explain the Kdrama Doona. Make sure to watch to the end, as I intend to clear up all your confusion about the drama. But first, be sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell to be among the first to see our content. Let's start with Doona's childhood. The idol life wasn't the life she originally wanted, but she had no choice but to embark on it. She was a troubled child, as nothing was normal about her upbringing. Her mother dumped her with her grandmother, and when her grandmother passed, she was left on her own at such a young age. This explains her volatile tendencies. As a child, she had an affinity for dancing, and was approached by Manager Park. She initially turned him down, but after her grandmother's death, she decided to give whatever Manager Park promised a go. I couldn't make up my mind if Manager Park was a monster or a helper. Without him, I wonder what her life would have been like, because her mother was a piece of unmentionable. He promised that he'd take care of her, and they'd be like family. To a girl who has been abandoned multiple times in life, that was all it took. Manager Park took care of her, and that was all it took for her to fall in love with him. I think she mistook her feelings of gratitude for love. He's all she'd known since her grandmother. Loving him meant picking up some of his habits, like smoking. But everything started to crumble when she said she couldn't sing. No one believed her, including Manager Park, who thought she was throwing a tantrum. I think she was going through a mental and professional block and needed a break, but no one would listen. This is the side of the industry people don't talk about. Some artists are bound by contracts that are almost equivalent to modern-day slavery. And when the label is done slaving them, they dump them for the new hottest person. And the cycle continues. The fear of being abandoned and forgotten makes some of the talents keep going until they reach a breaking point, like Doona did. So she took a drastic measure, which made the label and Manager Park dump her like a bag of hot potatoes at a shared house. On her part, life hasn't been easy. Here she meets Jun-won, who is kind, industrious, handsome, and a college student. Oh boy! How I rooted for Jun-won. I initially wanted him to end up with Jinju, who is also kind, a hard worker, and more stable than Doona. I knew that a romantic relationship with Doona would stress the handsome young man, who already had a lot on his plate with his studies, part-time jobs, sick sister, and mother. But when they got together, I had a pause. Their chemistry was out of the roof. They were so into one another that I lacked the heart to keep on rooting for Jinju. They changed one another in different ways and went through angst, which is a part of growing up. Junwon knew Doona was trouble and initially tried to avoid her. Her status as an idol had no lure for him, as Doona wasn't pleasant to be with at that moment. She was consumed with reaching Manager Park and smoking. She smoked like her life depended on it, and neglected herself. I think she smokes when she's stressed and to feel close to Manager Park. Moreover, Junwon was in love with Jinju, his high school sweetheart. Theirs was the cutest love and friendship ever. They had so much in common and saw one another as each other's soul mates. Things dived when Junwon confessed his feelings for her. I feel terrible for the young love that would have been. Jinju's father was pure evil and a tyrant. Unable to confide in Junwon, Jinju did what her young mind could at the time, which was withdraw. When she finally gathered the courage to confess her love, it was too late. Junwon was in love with Doona. Theirs was unplanned and happened spontaneously. It's easy for Doona to fall for the guy who showed her kindness despite her aloofness. It seems to be her modus operandi. She just needed her person. Before the shared building, she had no friends, and her mother was a loose cannon whose fraudulent scandal made headlines. With Junwon, she found her voice again, and she found friendship in Jinju, ERA, and the guys. She began to thrive. She learned what happiness meant and felt normal for once. When they were about to be exclusive and make their relationship public, reality came knocking in the form of Manager Park. I was so mad at Doona and heartbroken for Junwon when she let go of his hand for Manager Park. But just as she said, she only realizes her feelings when she loses the thing that matters. She's just human and like most of us after all. I expected her to be selfish and inconsiderate in her dealings with Junwon, but that wasn't the case. She loved Junwon just as much as he loved her. She went all in for their relationship and gave it her all. I think distance also played a part in their separation. Junwon had been away to cater to his ailing sister when the agency started pressuring her. When he realized what was happening and how much it was affecting her, he decided to let her go, just as Manager Park suggested. I think he realized how much music meant to her and didn't want to be any kind of hindrance. There are many cases where you would understand someone giving someone they love up for the other person's betterment. But this, I just don't understand. There's no fatal or grave reason Junwon had to be adamant about giving Doona up. She single-handedly fought for their love, but Junwon was fixed on letting her go. I understand that he feared that he would be a hindrance to her, but after 4 years, military service, a successful solo career, there was no reason for him to keep pushing her away. They felt the same way after all these years and should have given their love the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, after some time, life and its circumstances would have come between them, but they would never know if they didn't try. It felt like it was easier for him to give up than to try. Now, for what most viewers are confused about, did they make up after this hug? I think they just found closure at this moment. Junwon said what Doona needed to hear, which was that he missed her and regretted his decision to let her go. They accepted their new realities and moved on from one another. Junwon became a civil servant, and Doona thrived in her career as a solo artist. This was such a vague ending. I think the production team didn't want to break the viewers' hearts, leaving room for speculation. What are your thoughts on this drama? Please let us know in the comments section below. If you liked this content, give it a like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell for all things wonderfully K-drama. Thanks for watching, bye.